Close your eyes now and let yourself drift back in time with me, back to a warm evening in 1967, to the quiet countryside of Cuba, where the air hung thick and sweet with the scent of tobacco fields and tropical flowers. Picture a narrow road, winding through the darkness, lit only by a crescent moon. An old bus rumbles along this road, its engine humming a steady, drowsy rhythm. Inside, passengers sway gently with the motion, some dozing against the windows, others lost in the soft conversation that comes late at night when the world feels small and safe. The bus driver, a man named Callisto Garcia, knows this route like the back of his weathered hands. He's driven it 1,000 times, through sun and rain, through the velvet darkness of Caribbean nights. His eyes are heavy tonight, but watchful, as the headlights carve a tunnel through the black. And then something changes. Not suddenly, not with alarm, but slowly, like dawn breaking, a light begins to appear ahead. At first, Callisto thinks it's another vehicle, perhaps a truck coming the other way. But the light doesn't move like headlights. It doesn't bounce with the road. It simply glows, soft and steady, like a lantern floating in the darkness. He slows the bus, just a little, curiosity replacing any thought of concern. The passengers begin to notice now, faces turning toward the windshield, voices falling silent, as they all watch this strange, beautiful light growing brighter. The light is golden, warm, like candlelight seen through honey. It doesn't hurt to look at. In fact, it's almost comforting, the way it illuminates the road ahead, painting the tobacco leaves silver, making shadows dance like dreams. Callisto brings the bus to a stop. The engine idles, a soft purr in the silence. No one speaks. No one needs to. They simply watch as this luminous presence hovers above the road, perhaps 30 feet in the air, bathing everything in its gentle radiance. The light isn't harsh. It doesn't glare or blind. Instead, it feels almost alive, pulsing very slightly, like breathing, like a heartbeat made of warmth and peace. Inside the bus, there is no fear. This is what makes this moment so extraordinary, so different from the stories we usually hear. There should be panic, shouldn't there? There should be screaming, people demanding the driver turn around, flee into the night. But there is none of that. Instead, there is wonder, there is calm. A mother holds her sleeping child a little closer, but she smiles. An old man removes his hat, as if standing before something sacred. Two young women clutch each other's hands, not in terror, but in shared amazement. Time seems to slow, or perhaps it stops altogether. In this moment, the bus and its passengers exist in a pocket of stillness, held gently by this unexplainable light. The normal rules don't apply here. Fear doesn't apply here. There is only this soft, golden now. The light hovers, and hovers, and hovers, and then, as gently as it came, it begins to rise, not quickly, not with a burst of speed or a roar of engines, just slowly, gracefully, like a bubble floating upward through water. It lifts into the night sky, growing smaller, dimmer, until it's just another star among thousands. The darkness returns, the ordinary darkness of a Cuban night. The engine still idles, the moon still hangs in the same place, but everything feels different now, changed, blessed. Somehow, Calixto shifts the bus into gear. The passengers settle back into their seats, and the bus continues down the road, carrying people who will remember this night for the rest of their lives, not as the night they were frightened, but as the night they witnessed something beautiful. In the days and weeks that follow, they will tell their families, they will tell their friends, but their stories won't spread far. This is 1967, After all, in rural Cuba, where such things are whispered about but rarely documented, no newspapers will report it. No investigators will arrive with cameras and questions. And so, this peaceful, luminous encounter fades into the quiet archives of memory, known to those who were there, known to those who listened to their stories, but largely forgotten by the wider world. But we remember it now, don't we? As you lie here in the darkness, you can almost see it, that golden glow, that warmth without heat, that light without fear. Let that image rest in your mind, soft and steady, like the light itself. Let it be the last thing you see as your breathing deepens, as your body grows heavy, as sleep begins to wrap around you like warm silk. The bus continues through the night, and so do you, drifting toward dreams of gentle lights and peaceful encounters where nothing can harm you, where everything is soft and warm and safe. The road stretches ahead, and you are floating. Now, floating like that light, rising gently into the velvet darkness, into sleep, into peace. Let yourself drift now, across the ocean, across time, to the sun-drenched hills of Greece, where whitewashed villages cling to mountainsides, and olive groves shimmer in the heat, and the air tastes of salt and wild thyme. In one such village, whose name has been lost to time, there lived a man named Trantos Karatros. He was a simple man, a farmer, with hands hardened by work and a face creased by sun and smiles. His days followed the ancient rhythm of the land, planting, tending, harvesting, beneath the endless blue of the Mediterranean sky. One evening, as the sun began its descent toward the sea, painting the world in shades of amber and rose, Trantos walked among his olive trees. The shadows stretched long. The cicadas sang their evening song. Everything was as it always was, as it had been for 1,000 years. But then, he noticed the fire at the edge of his field. A small fire had started. Perhaps a discarded cigarette. Perhaps a spark from somewhere unknown. It wasn't large yet, just flames licking at dry grass. But in the heat of summer, in the dryness of the Greek countryside, even a small fire can become a catastrophe. Trantos moved quickly, calling for help, reaching for buckets, his mind already calculating how much water he would need, how many neighbors he should wake. But then, the fire went out, not gradually, not the way fires die when smothered or drowned. It simply stopped. The flames vanished. The smoke disappeared. In an instant, there was nothing but scorched earth and confusion. Trantos stood very still, buckets in hand, staring at the place where fire had been. And as he stared, he realized something else. A presence, a light. He looked up, hovering silently above his olive grove. Perhaps 50 feet in the air was an object unlike anything he had ever seen. It was smooth, metallic, with a surface that seemed to shift and shimmer in the evening light. And from it emanated a soft glow, not bright enough to hurt his eyes, but noticeable, peaceful, like moonlight on still water. Trantos did not run. He did not shout. He simply watched. In his bones, in his heart, he understood. This object, this presence, had extinguished the fire, not with water, not with effort, but simply by willing it so. The fire was put out because it was dangerous, gently, completely, the way a parent might pluck a child from harm's way. The object hovered there, silent as starlight. Trantos felt no fear. How could he fear something that had just saved his livelihood? Something that had protected his trees, his land, his home. Instead, he felt something else, something hard to name. Gratitude, perhaps, or recognition. As if some ancient part of his soul remembered this. Remembered beings of light, who watch over the growing things, who tend the earth as he tended his olives. The Greek countryside has always been a place of mysteries. The old ones knew this. They saw gods in every stream and dryads in every tree. They understood that the world was full of presences, of intelligences, both seen and unseen, and that not all of them meant harm. Trentos, standing in his olive grove, felt connected to those old ones now. He felt the weight of centuries, the knowledge that he was not the first to witness such things, and would not be the last. The object began to move, not away, but slowly, gracefully, along the perimeter of the field, as if all was well, that no other fires smoldered, that the danger had truly passed. Trentos followed it with his eyes, turning slowly, his neck craned back, watching this impossible thing drift through the evening air like a leaf on a gentle current dot, and then, satisfied, the object rose higher, into the deepening blue of twilight, until it was just a bright spot among the early stars, and then nothing. Trentos stood alone in his field. The buckets are still in his hands. The evening is still warm on his face. The cicadas are still singing. Everything as it was, except for the place where the fire had been, and the memory now burned into his mind. He would tell this story, but only to those closest to him, his wife, his children, a few trusted friends, over wine and bread. He knew, somehow, that this was not a tale for strangers, not something to shout from the mountainside. This was a gift, a moment of grace, and like all precious things, it should be kept close, held gently, and protected. The years passed. The olive trees continued to grow. Trentos grew old among them, his hands still working the earth, his eyes still scanning the evening sky, wondering, remembering Dot. And when he finally left this world, he took that memory with him, but it didn't die. Memories like that never truly die. They live on in whispers, in the quiet stories people tell when the hour is late and the world is still. You're so relaxed now, letting this story wash over you like a warm breeze. Can you feel it? The Mediterranean sun on your skin, the scent of olives and wild herbs, the sense that the world is full of gentle mysteries, of presences that mean no harm, only protection, only peace. Let that feeling deepen. Let it spread through your body like warmth, through your arms, your legs, your chest. Let it make you heavy, so sinking into comfort, into safety. The fire is extinguished. The danger has passed. The light watches over you, just as it watches over Trentos, just as it watches over all growing things. You are safe. You are protected. You are drifting now, like that object through the evening sky, floating, weightless, peaceful, into sleep, into dreams, into the gentle mysteries of the night. Breathe deeply now, and let yourself travel once more, to a place far from the Mediterranean warmth, to the fields of Poland, where the land stretches flat and endless, where forests of birch and pine whisper secrets to the wind, and where, in 1978, a farmer named Jan Volsky experienced something that would change his understanding of reality forever. But this change, unlike many others, came without terror. It came with curiosity, with strangeness, yes, but also with an odd sort of calm, the kind of calm that settles over a dream when you know nothing can truly hurt you, even as impossible things unfold. It was May, the 21st of May, a day like any other. Jan was returning from the fields, riding in his horse-drawn cart, the steady clip-clop of hooves marking time, the wooden wheels creaking their familiar song. He was a simple man, 71 years old, weathered by decades of farming, his hands strong, his mind clear. His life lived close to the earth. The dirt road stretched ahead, bordered by fields of early crops and wildflowers. The morning sun was warm. The air smelled of growing things. Jan's mind was on simple matters, on dinner, on the work still to be done, on the rhythm of an ordinary day. And then he saw them, two figures, standing beside the road, but not like any figures he had seen before. They were small, perhaps 4 feet tall, dressed in something that looked like one-piece suits, tightly fitted, a dark green or gray color that seemed to absorb the light. Their faces, Jan would later struggle to describe. Large eyes, smooth skin, features that were almost human, but not quite, like a sculpture that's beautiful, but somehow incomplete. The cart slowed. The horse, usually steady, tossed its head nervously, but didn't bolt, didn't panic, just hesitated, as if sensing something strange, but not threatening. Jan stared at these beings. They stared back at him. And here's where this story becomes remarkable, because Jan felt no fear. None. He felt confused, certainly, surprise, the deep strangeness of seeing something that shouldn't exist, but fear, that ancient, primal fear that should have sent him fleeing. It simply wasn't there. The beings gestured, not aggressively, not just gestured, as if inviting, as if requesting. And Jan, this 71-year-old Polish farmer, found himself climbing down from his cart, found himself following them. Why? He would ask himself this question many times in the years to come. Why did he follow? Why didn't he run? But at that moment, it simply felt like the thing to do. Like when a stranger asks for directions and you stop to help. Like when a child reaches for your hand. It felt not normal, exactly, but not dangerous either. The beings led him across the field. Their movements were smooth, sliding almost, their feet barely seeming to touch the ground. Jan followed, his own steps heavy in comparison, his farmer's boots crushing the grass, while they moved like whispers, like shadows, like thoughts made briefly solid. They came to a clearing. And there, hovering just above the ground, was their craft. It was not large, perhaps the size of a bus. Its shape was unusual, like a rectangle with rounded edges, with what looked like transparent panels along the sides. And it hummed, very softly. A sound that was barely a sound at all, more felt than heard. A vibration in the air, in the chest, in the bones, that the beings gestured again, toward an opening in the craft, an invitation. Jan, in his overalls and work boots, with dirt under his fingernails and sun on his weathered face, climbed aboard. Inside was unlike anything from his world. The walls seemed to glow with their light. There were panels, or were they windows, instruments, or were they something else entirely? The space was larger than it should have been, or perhaps smaller. Perspective became difficult. Time became strange. Other beings were there. Not many, 3 or 4. They moved around him, not touching, not threatening, just observing, as if he were as fascinating to them as they were to him. One approached, held something toward him, a tool, a device. Jan couldn't tell, but he understood, somehow, that they wanted something. A sample, information. He wasn't sure. He shook his head slowly. No, he didn't understand. He couldn't give them what they wanted. The being didn't insist, didn't force, simply withdrew. And Jan felt an odd pang of guilt, as if he'd disappointed a visitor. Turned away someone who'd traveled a long distance to his home. Time passed. How much he couldn't say. Minutes, hours, in that strange space, with that soft humming. Time didn't work the way it should. But eventually, the beings guided him back to the opening. back toward the outside world, not rushing him, not pushing, just indicating. The visit was over. Jan climbed down. The grass was wet with dew beneath his feet, though he didn't remember dew earlier. The beings retreated into their craft. The opening closed, or seemed to, the surface becoming seamless, smooth as an egg, and then silently, gently, the craft rose, not with fire or thunder, not with the roar of rockets, just lifted, as if gravity had simply decided to release it. It hovered for a moment, perhaps in farewell, and then moved away, gaining speed, disappearing into the morning sky, leaving Jan standing alone in the field, his horse and cart waiting patiently where he'd left them. He climbed back onto his cart, picked up the reins, continued home. The horse resumed its steady pace. The wheels creaked. The sun warmed his shoulders. Everything was as it had been, except Jan. Jan was changed, not harmed, not traumatized, but changed. He had seen something, been somewhere, met others, and come back to tell me that he told his story. To his family first, then to neighbors, then to investigators who came from the city with their notebooks and skepticism. He never changed the details, never embellished, just told it plainly, the way a farmer describes planting a field or mending a fence. Some believed him, some didn't, but everyone agreed on one thing. Jan Valskyt what he was saying. This was no joke, no trick, just an old man describing the strangest morning of his long life, with the same matter-of-fact tone he'd used to describe the weather. And here's what makes this encounter so perfect for sleep, so perfect for this moment as you lie here in the darkness. It's the lack of fear, the gentle strangeness of it, the dreamlike quality where impossible things happen. But you're safe, you're curious, you're part of something mysterious, but not malevolent. Let that feeling settle over you now, that sense of floating through strangeness without fear, encountering the impossible with calm curiosity, of being chosen for a moment of mystery and then returned, unchanged except for the memory. You are so relaxed now, so heavy, your body sinks into the comfort beneath you. Your breathing is deep and slow. Your mind drifts like Jan's cart along that country road, steady, peaceful, moving toward sleep. The beings have gone, the craft has vanished, but the calm remains, the peace remains, that gentle, surreal quality of a world where mysteries exist, but none of them mean you harm. Drift, now drift, like a craft rising silently into the morning sky, weightless, peaceful, safe, into sleep, into dreams, into the soft mysteries waiting there. Let the darkness wrap around you now, comfortable and close, as we drift across the ocean again, back to America, to the warm southern night of Mississippi, where the Pascagoula River flows slowly toward the Gulf of Mexico, carrying with it the scent of marsh grass and moss, and where two men, on an ordinary fishing trip, had an encounter that was anything but ordinary. It was the 11th of October, 1973. The evening air was thick and humid, the kind of dampness that settles on your skin like silk, that makes every sound seem muffled, distant, as if the world itself is half-asleep. Charlie Hickson and Calvin Parker, co-workers, friends, had come to the river to fish. Nothing special. Just two men with fishing poles and a few hours of freedom, hoping for catfish, for conversation, for the simple peace that comes from being near water as day turns to night. They stood on the pier, their lines cast into the dark water, listening to the soft slap of wavelets against the wooden posts, watching the last colors drain from the western sky. Everything was as it should be, peaceful, normal, The kind of evening that makes you forget about bills and bosses and all the complicated things that make up life. And then, a light dot at first. Just a glow, bluish, strange, coming from behind them, from over the water. Both men turned, slowly, their fishing poles forgotten, their eyes trying to make sense of what they were seeing. A craft. There was no other word. Hovering, silent, perhaps 30 feet away, 10 feet above the water, its blue light pulsing gently, like a heartbeat, like breathing, casting strange shadows across the marsh grass. Fear should have come then, the primal urge to run, but it didn't. Not exactly. There was shock, certainly, confusion, the deep strangeness of seeing something impossible, but overlaying it all, underneath it all, was something else. Calm. A strange, imposed, otherworldly calm, as if the fear had been gently taken away, as if something was saying, without words, without sound, be still, be at peace, no harm will come. An opening appeared in the craft, not a door sliding open, not a ramp descending, just an opening, as if the solid surface had simply decided to be not solid anymore. And from that opening, they came, 3 beings, floating, not walking, not flying, just moving through the air, as if air and ground were the same thing, as if gravity was merely a suggestion they'd chosen not to follow. Their bodies were humanoid, but strange, gray or silver skin that seemed rough, textured, like tree bark or elephant hide, no necks or very little neck, their heads seeming to sit directly on their shoulders, and their faces, where it should have features, there were only suggestions, slits where eyes might be, a small opening that might have been a mouth, no nose to speak of, and from the sides of their heads, protrusions, not ears, but something else, like small instruments, like organic tools built into their very being. Charlie and Calvin stood frozen, not by fear, though fear was certainly present, but by that strange imposed calm, that sense of being held, suspended. In a moment outside normal time, the beings approached, smoothly, inevitably, their movements synchronized, as if they were one mind in 3 bodies. And then they touched the men. Not roughly, not painfully, but firmly, with purpose. Their grip, if you could call it that, was strange. Those appendages, those arm-like things, ending in claw-like extensions, shouldn't have been gentle. But somehow, they were Dot and Charles and Calvin. These 2 ordinary working men found themselves floating, lifted, carried through the air, toward that opening, toward that blue light, toward something their minds couldn't quite process, but their bodies couldn't resist. Inside the craft, memories become jumbled, fragmented, like trying to remember a dream the moment after waking. There was light. There were more beings. There was a sense of being examined, studied, measured, but not with cold clinical detachment, not with cruelty or pain, more like curiosity, like a naturalist examining a rare butterfly, with care, with interest, with something that might almost be respect. Calvin closed his eyes, whether from fear or that strange calm, he couldn't say. He prayed, silently, fervently, the words his grandmother had taught him as a child. And in his prayer, he felt no sense that these beings were evil. Strange, yes. Alien, certainly. But evil, no. That word didn't fit. Charlie, older, more skeptical by nature, kept his eyes open, watched. I tried to understand. I tried to remember, knowing somehow that this was important, that someday he would need to tell this story, and when he did, he would need to tell it true. Time passed. How much, they would never know for certain. In that place, aboard that craft, with those beings, Time was as strange and fluid as everything else. 20 minutes, an hour. It felt like both forever and no time at all. And then, as gently as they'd been taken, they were returned. The same pier, the same night. Their fishing poles were still where they'd dropped them. The river is still moving slowly in the darkness. But they were changed, both of them. Changed in ways they couldn't quite name. Marked by an experience that shouldn't have been possible, that couldn't have been real, except that it was. The craft was gone. The blue light was gone. Only the stars remained, watching, silent, keeping their own counsel. Charlie and Calvin would report their encounter. They would face skepticism, mockery, and disbelief, but they would never waver in their story, never change the details. Never admit to a hoax or a hallucination, because it wasn't either of those things. It was real as the river, as real as the night, as real as the strange peace that had settled over them, that remained with them even in the face of doubt. And what's so remarkable, what makes this encounter so right for this moment, as you drift toward sleep, is that underlying peace. Yes, there was strangeness. Yes, it was impossible. But underneath it all, woven through every moment, was the sense that they were safe, that they were being cared for in an odd way, that these beings, whatever they were, wherever they came from, meant no harm. Let that peace settle over you now, that strange, otherworldly peace, the sense that even in the face of the unknown, even when the impossible becomes real, there can be calm, there can be safety, there can be a moment when fear is gently taken away and replaced with something softer, deeper, more profound. You are so relaxed now, so heavy, your breathing is slow and even, in and out, like the river flowing, like the craft hovering, steady, eternal, peaceful. Let yourself float now, just as they floated, lifted gently, carried softly, toward rest, toward sleep, toward dreams where strange beings might visit, but only to wonder at you, only to examine you with care, only to return you, safely, gently, to exactly where you belong. The river flows, the stars watch, the blue light fades, and you drift, sleep, into peace, into the warm Mississippi night. Rest deeper now. Let yourself sink further still, as we journey across the Atlantic once more, to the ancient forests of England, where Roman soldiers once marched, where druids once gathered beneath oak and ash, and where, in the winter of 1980, members of the United States Air Force encountered something that defied all their training, all their expectations, and yet left them not with fear, but with awe. Picture Rendlesham Forest, dense, dark, the kind of old European woodland where mist clings to the ground, even at midday, where the trees grow so close together that their branches weave overhead like a cathedral ceiling, where every step on the forest floor releases the scent of earth and decay and ancient growing things. It is December, just after Christmas, the 26th, sliding into the 27th. The air is cold, sharp, the kind of cold that makes breath visible, that makes every sound seem amplified in the stillness. RAF Woodbridge, a military base, seriously secure, staffed by professionals trained to handle any crisis. Security officers patrol the perimeter, watchful, alert, responsible for the safety of the base and all within it. And on this night, these trained observers, these men with security clearances and responsibilities, see lights in the forest, not distant lights, not stars or aircraft or easily explained phenomena. Lights among the trees, moving, strange colors, blue, red, white, pulsing, descending, as if something is landing. or trying to, or has already landed in the darkness between the ancient pines. Staff Sergeant Jim Pennis, Airman First Class John Burroughs, and others. They respond. This is their job: to investigate, to protect, to understand. They enter the forest. Imagine walking through those trees in the dead of night, your flashlight beam cutting through the mist, the crunch of frozen needles beneath your boots. Your breath is clouding, your radio crackling with static and questions from the base. Your training tells you to be careful, be ready, but your instincts, your deeper instincts, sensing something that has nothing to do with earthly threats. The lights grow brighter as they advance, more defined. No longer just glows in the distance, but something substantial. Something there, and then they see it. A craft, triangular, or perhaps pyramidal. The descriptions would later vary, as descriptions of the truly strange always do, each observer processing the impossible through their own lens, their own vocabulary. But certain details remained consistent. The size, approximately 9 feet wide at the base, 9 feet tall. The surface, dark, metallic, covered in symbols. Strange markings that looked almost like hieroglyphics, like an alphabet from a civilization that never existed on Earth, or existed so long ago that all memory of it has been lost. And the light, oh, the light. It moved across the surface, pulsing, alive, blue and orange and white, as if the craft itself was breathing, as if it was not just a machine, but something more, something organic and mechanical at once. Penniston approached, slowly, carefully. His training told him to keep his distance, but something deeper drew him forward. He reached out, touched the surface. It was smooth, warm. Despite the December cold, it was warm. And beneath his hand, beneath his fingertips, he could feel a vibration, subtle, rhythmic, like a heartbeat, like the hum of vast machinery, like a living thing dreaming of flight. The symbols seemed to glow brighter under his touch, as if responding, as if recognizing him. And in that moment, Penniston felt something he would struggle to explain for decades afterward, a sense of connection, of data flooding into his mind, of images and concepts and understanding that had no words, only feelings, only knowing. He would later write pages and pages of binary code, ones and zeros, stream of consciousness numbers that poured out of him without conscious thought. And when decoded, years later, they would contain coordinates, geographic locations, and a message, exploration of humanity, continuous for planetary advance. But in that moment, in the forest, with his hand on that warm, pulsing surface, Penniston simply stood, aware, connected, part of something vast and ancient and utterly beyond his comprehension. Burroughs circled the craft, observing, documenting. His mind is trying to find categories, trying to fit this into some framework of understanding. Was it ours? Russian? Some secret project? But no, nothing about it fits. The silence of it, the grace of it, the way it seemed to exist slightly outside of normal space, slightly to the left of reality. Other personnel arrived. Deputy Base Commander Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt. More officers. They brought equipment, cameras, radiation detectors, recording devices. They documented, they measured, they observed. The radiation levels were elevated, not dangerously so, but present, real, physical evidence that something had been here, that this wasn't just light and shadow and overwrought imagination. And then, as they watched, as they documented, as they tried to understand, the craft began to move, not with engines, not with fire or thrust or anything from Earth's arsenal of flight. It simply rose, smoothly, silently, lifting above the trees, its lights still pulsing, still beautiful, still utterly alien. It hovered. The officers watched, their necks craned back, their equipment still running, their voices on the tape recorders betraying not fear, but wonder, excitement, the kind of exhilaration that comes from witnessing something impossible becoming possible right before your eyes. And then it moved, fast, breaking apart into multiple lights, or appearing to, dancing through the sky, above the base, above the forest, performing maneuvers that would shatter any human pilot, that violated every principle of physics they knew before vanishing, simply vanishing, into the night, into the stars, into wherever such things go when they're finished with us. The officers returned to base. They filed reports, official reports, which would be classified, buried, denied for years. But the truth, the experience, remained. In the depression left on the forest floor, in the elevated radiation readings, in the triangular pattern of marks pressed into the frozen ground, in the tape recordings, in the memories, and most of all, in the strange mixture of feelings the men carried with them. Not trauma, not fear, but awe, reverence, the sense that they had brushed against something profound, something that expanded their understanding of what was possible, what was real, what existed in this vast universe beyond our small human comprehension. Rendlesham Forest still stands. The trees still grow. The earth still bears faint marks of what happened that December night. And sometimes, visitors report strange feelings when they walk those paths. A sense of presence, of watching, of something lingering in the spaces between the trees, not menacing, but observant, curious, perhaps waiting for the right moment to return. Let yourself feel that now, that sense of ancient presence, of forests that have seen empires rise and fall, of earth that holds memories deeper than words, of sky that has witnessed countless mysteries and kept most of them secret. You are so deeply relaxed, so heavy your body has melted into comfort. Your breathing is slow, rhythmic, like the pulse of that craft, like the heartbeat of something vast and unknowable. Let the forest wrap around you. Let the mist settle over you. Let the ancient trees stand guard. You are safe here, protected, part of something larger than yourself, part of the mystery, part of the wonder. The craft has gone. The lights have faded, but the peace remains. The awe remains. The sense that the universe is far stranger and more beautiful than we ever imagined. Drift, now, through the trees, through the mist, through the gentle English darkness, into sleep, into dreams, into the ancient quiet of Rendlesham Forest. Breathe deeply now, deeper still, as we remain in the 1980s, but cross back over the Atlantic, returning to America, to the Hudson River Valley, where the water runs wide and dark, where nuclear power plants with contained energy, and where something appeared one night, something massive, something silent, hovering with a patience that spoke of intelligence beyond our understanding. The Indian Point Energy Center. 2 nuclear reactors, surrounded by security, monitored constantly, protected by systems both technological and human. This is not a place where strange things go unnoticed. This is not a place where untrained observers make mistakes. And yet, one evening in the mid-1980s, security personnel noticed something. First, a light, distant, could be an aircraft, could be a helicopter, could be a dozen ordinary things. But it didn't move like ordinary things. It didn't sound like ordinary things. In fact, it didn't sound like anything at all. It moved closer, slowly, deliberately, and as it approached, As it became clear against the night sky, the guards realized they were looking at something they had no framework for understanding. An object, enormous. Some estimated it 300 feet across, others said larger, but all agreed it was vast, far larger than any aircraft they'd seen, larger than the transport planes from nearby bases, larger than commercial jets passing overhead. This was immense, and it was hovering directly over the nuclear facility, silent, still, as if observing, as if studying, as if taking careful note of this place where humans had learned to split atoms, to harness the power that fueled stars, to contain barely controlled chaos within concrete and steel. The shape was unusual, boomerang-like, some said, V-shaped, with lights along its edges. Not bright, not harsh, but clearly visible, steady, unblinking, arranged in patterns that suggested design, purpose. The security team watched. Radios were activated. Supervisors were notified. More personnel came to witness, to verify, to ensure this wasn't one person's mistake, one set of eyes playing tricks in the darkness. But no, everyone saw it. Everyone confirmed. This was real. This was happening. This was here. What's remarkable, what makes this encounter so perfect for this late hour, as you drift deeper toward sleep, is the stillness of it all. Patience. There was no aggression, no sudden movements, no signs of hostility or threat, just presence, observation, the sense of being witnessed by something that had all the time in the world, that didn't rush, didn't panic, simply hovered and watched, and perhaps understood things we cannot even begin to comprehend. Imagine being there, standing in the cold night air, looking up at this impossible thing, knowing that above you, mere hundreds of feet away, is something that shouldn't exist, something that defies not just your training, but your entire worldview, and yet feeling no terror, feeling instead what awe, certainly, confusion, but underneath that, a strange sort of calm, because if this thing wanted to cause harm, if it meant destruction, it would have done so already, wouldn't it? Instead, it simply hovers, observe, exists, silent as a thought, stable as a mountain, present as the air. The minutes stretched 5, 10, 15 time, behaves strangely when you're in the presence of the impossible. Each second feels endless and instantaneous. You want it to stay, to give you more time to understand, process, memorize every detail. But you also want it to leave, to release you from this moment of suspended reality, to let the world return to normal. The object seemed in no hurry to grant either wish. It remained patient, observing the nuclear facility below with whatever senses it possessed. Did it understand what it was seeing? Did it recognize the significance of this place, this harnessing of atomic power? Did it marvel, or worry, or simply note it as a data point in some vast cosmic catalog? Attempts were made to contact it. Radio signals, light signals, the standard protocols for unknown aircraft, but there was no response. Or perhaps there was no need for a response. Perhaps the hovering itself was enough response. We are here. We see you. We acknowledge you. But we have no need for your primitive communication methods. Or perhaps that's us projecting, imagining, trying to understand something so far beyond our context that we can only guess at motivation, at purpose, at thought processes that might be as different from ours as ours are from an ant's. Other witnesses began to arrive. The nuclear facility wasn't isolated. There were nearby homes, nearby roads, other people who happened to look up, happened to see, happened to become part of this extraordinary moment, a guard at a nearby facility, drivers on the highway, residents in their yards. All of them stopped, staring, confirming what security staff already knew. This was real. This was visible to everyone. This was not hallucination or mistake or wishful thinking. This was simply there, and then, after what felt like an eternity, after what was probably 30 to 45 minutes, the object moved, not quickly, not with a burst of speed or flash of light, just slowly drifted away from the facility, away from the river, climbing gradually into the night sky, its lights still steady, still visible, until distance and darkness claimed it. The witnesses remained, standing, staring at the empty sky, trying to process, trying to understand, trying to figure out how to return to normal life after experiencing something so profoundly abnormal. Reports were filed. Investigations were conducted. But like many such encounters, official interest was tepid, dismissive. These were credible witnesses, trained observers, multiple independent corroborations. Still, the conclusion was always the same: unknown, unexplained, case closed, move along. But for those who were there, who saw it, who stood beneath that vast silent presence, the experience remained unshakable, real. A moment when the universe revealed itself to be far stranger, far more populated, far more mysterious than they had ever imagined. And here, in this quiet moment, as you lie in darkness, you can almost see it, right? That enormous shape against the night, those steady lights, that profound stillness. There's something deeply calming about it, about the patience of it, about the lack of aggression, about the sense that we are being watched, not with malice, but with the same curiosity with which we might watch ants building their colonies, fascinated, respectful of their industry, but ultimately, beyond them, operating on a scale and timeline they cannot comprehend. You are so relaxed now, so deeply at peace. Your body is heavy, sinking, melting into comfort. Your breath is slow and even. Your mind is quiet, drifting, like that object drifting slowly into the night. Let yourself hover now, suspended, weightless, held gently by forces you don't need to understand, safe, observed, part of a cosmos that is watching over you, curious about you, but meaning you no harm. The nuclear plant hums below. The river flows. The stars shine. And you float, peaceful, silent, moving slowly toward sleep, drifting into darkness, into rest, into dreams where vast things hover overhead, benign, patient, eternal, into sleep, into peace, into the gentle mysteries of the night. Let yourself rise now, gently, effortlessly, up from the ground, up into the sky, where we join a commercial aircraft flying through the darkness above Wales, where the Celtic Sea meets ancient mountains, where pilots trained in precision and skepticism are about to witness something that will stay with them forever. Picture the cockpit, dim, quiet, illuminated only by the soft glow of instruments, green and amber lights casting gentle shadows. Outside the windows, nothing but darkness and stars. Below, the occasional cluster of lights marking a village or town. Above, the infinite vault of space that the pilots sit in their seats, familiar with this route. They've flown it hundreds of times, through day and night, through weather fair and foul. This is routine. This is professional. This is what they know until it isn't single quotes. It at first just a light to their right, slightly above them, moving on a parallel course. Could be another aircraft. The sky is busy, even at night, even over Wales. Planes pass each other constantly. Lights in the darkness. brief companions on long journeys. But this light doesn't behave like other aircraft. It doesn't have the standard configuration: red on the left wing, green on the right, white tail strobe. Instead, it's simply bright, steady, unusual. The captain notices first. Years of training make his eyes sharp for anything out of place. He watches it, silent for a moment, then mentions it to his co-pilot. "Do you see that?" The co-pilot looks, confirms, "Yes, there's something there." They check their instruments. No transponder signal, no radio contact. Nothing on the collision avoidance system, as if it's not there, except that it very clearly is. They continue flying. Steady course, steady speed, professional. But both pairs of eyes keep returning to that light, that presence, that something that has decided to fly alongside them. Minutes pass. The light remains, maintaining perfect formation, not ahead, not behind, just there, beside them, like a companion, like an escort, like something that has chosen to share this moment of flight through the darkness above Wales. The pilots exchange glances. Should they report this to air traffic control, to their airline? But what would they say? "There's a light beside us." It sounds absurd. It sounds like something that would trigger questions about their fitness to fly. Drug tests, psychological evaluations. So they say nothing. They simply watch and fly and exist in this strange shared experience. Imagine it, cruising at 30,000 feet, the aircraft humming around you, the instruments are steady, the passengers behind you sleeping or reading or watching movies, completely unaware, and beside you, through the cockpit window, something impossible, something that shouldn't be there, something that is nevertheless absolutely, undeniably real. There's a kind of intimacy, of privacy, as if this encounter is meant only for them, only for these two professionals who have dedicated their lives to understanding flight, to mastering the skies, and who are now being shown that they understand far less than they thought. Light starts doing something weird. It moves, not away, but closer, approaching the aircraft. The pilots tense slightly, hands near controls. Training says, be prepared. But for what? What procedure covers this? What emergency protocol addresses unknown lights that defy explanation? But the light doesn't threaten. It simply approaches, comes alongside, near enough now that they can see it's not just a light. There's structure behind it. Form, something solid and real, creating that illumination. It's disc-like, or perhaps oval, hard to tell in the darkness, but definitely structured, definitely crafted, definitely a vehicle, a craft, something that flies with purpose and control and intelligence behind its movements. The object paces them, perhaps 100 yards away, perhaps less, close enough to see, far enough to not feel threatening, and it simply flies, smooth, steady, silent, or at least any sound it makes is lost in the roar of the aircraft's own engines. The pilots watch, mesmerized. Time becomes strange. Are they flying for minutes, hours? The instruments say one thing. Their sense of duration says another. In the presence of the impossible, normal markers lose meaning. And then, as if satisfied, as if the observation is complete, the object begins to move away, not quickly, not with any dramatic acceleration, just gradually, increasing the distance, pulling ahead of the aircraft, climbing slightly, moving with grace and intention. The pilots watch it go, watch it climb higher, watch it accelerate, gently at first, then faster, then impossibly fast, crossing the sky in seconds, vanishing into the darkness beyond the stars, and they're left alone, just the two of them. the aircraft, the instruments, the sleeping passengers, the ordinary world. Except nothing feels quite ordinary anymore. They complete their flight, land safely, go through all the normal procedures, checklist, shutdown, paperwork, professional routine, but between them, an unspoken understanding, an experience shared, a secret held. They don't report it, not officially, but over drinks, years later, in quiet conversations with other pilots they trust, the story comes out. And always, they're met with knowing looks, slight nods, because they're not alone. So many pilots have seen things, brief encounters in the sky, lights that shouldn't be there, objects that defy explanation. It's one of aviation's open secrets, what we see but don't report, the mysteries that share our skies, the presence of something else, something other, something that flies alongside us, watches us, and then departs, leaving only questions and wonder in its wake. You're floating now, high above the earth, moving smoothly through darkness, the stars above, the world below, and beside you, nothing you need to fear, only the gentle presence of mysteries, the companionship of the unknown, the sense that you're never truly alone in this vast cosmos. Your breathing is so slow, so peaceful, in and out, like the aircraft engines, like the steady rhythm of flight, smooth, continuous, eternal. Let yourself glide now, effortless, weightless, moving through the night sky, moving through layers of consciousness, moving from waking into dreaming, from thought into sleep. The light has gone, the encounter has ended, but the peace remains, the calm remains, the sense that the skies hold wonders, and none of them wish you harm. Drift now, drift through the darkness above Wales, through the gentle mystery of flight, through the soft transition into sleep, into rest, into dreams, into the infinite peaceful sky. Breathe deeply now, and let yourself climb even higher, into the thin, cold air above Alaska, where the aurora dances, where mountains pierce the sky like ancient teeth, and where, on November 17, 1986, a cargo pilot with 29 years of experience looked out his window and saw something that would challenge everything he knew about flight, about physics, about what was possible in our skies. Japan Airlines Flight 1628, a cargo 747, heavy, laden with French wine, bound for Tokyo, flying northeast from Paris, across Iceland, across the Arctic, following the Great Circle route that commercial aircraft have traced for decades. Captain Kenju Terayuchi sits in the left seat, experienced, professional, a man who has logged over 10,000 hours in the air, who has flown through storms and emergencies and every challenge that aviation can present. His hands are steady on the controls. His eyes scan the instruments with practiced ease. Beside him, his co-pilot. Behind him, the flight engineer. 3 professionals, 3 sets of eyes, 3 minds trained to observe, assess, respond. They are flying over Alaska. The time is just past 5 p.m., but this far north, in November, 5 p.m. is full darkness. Below them, nothing but wilderness, mountains, forests, ice. Above them, stars begin to emerge as twilight deepens, and then lights appear. To their left, slightly below them, 2 objects, rectangular array of lights, moving in formation. The captain notices first, unusual, but not impossible. Perhaps military aircraft. This is Alaska. There are bases here, training exercises. It could be explained, but the objects don't behave like military aircraft. They match the 747's speed exactly. They maintain perfect formation, and they're large. Larger than fighters, larger than any aircraft the captain recognizes. And they're putting out heat. Incredible heat. The captain can feel it through the cockpit window. Warmth radiating from objects that should be cold in the freezing air at altitude. The flight engineer confirms. Yes, he sees them too. 2 objects. Arrays of lights, keeping pace. The co-pilot, initially skeptical, leans forward, looks, and falls silent. Because yes, there they are, undeniable, real, present. The captain contacts Anchorage Air Traffic Control. We have traffic, unidentified. Can you confirm? Silence. Then, negative y'all, 1628. We show no traffic in your vicinity, but the objects are there, right there. Close enough to see in detail. Close enough to feel their heat. Close enough to reach out and touch, if such a thing were possible. The objects move closer. The captain's pulse quickens slightly, but he remains calm, professional. He's been flying too long to panic. He's seen too much to lose his composure. But this is new. The lights pulse, rhythmic, like machinery, like systems cycling, like something alive and mechanical at once. And the heat intensifies. The captain estimates the temperature inside the cockpit has risen 10 degrees, just from proximity, just from being near these things. And then they disappear. Not gradually, not by flying away. They simply vanish. One moment there, next moment gone, as if they'd never existed. The captain exhales, shares a look with his crew. Unspoken question, did it just happen? But before they can discuss it, before they can process, something else appears behind them. Above them, enormous dot. The captain turns, look back, and for a moment, his mind refuses to process what his eyes are seeing, because it's too big, too vast, too impossible. A craft, if you can call it that, circular, or perhaps disc-shaped, silhouetted against the stars, massive. The captain would later estimate it was twice the size of an aircraft carrier, maybe larger. So large that it defied comprehension. So large that the 747, this enormous machine weighing hundreds of tons, seemed like a toy in comparison. It follows them, maintaining distance, not threatening, not approaching aggressively, just there, present, observing the way a human might watch an insect, curious but not hostile, aware but not concerned. The captain contacts air traffic control again. His voice is steady but urgent. We have something behind us, very large. Can you see it on radar? Anchorage confers, checks, and after a long moment, y'all, 1628, we have a target. Confirming unidentified traffic in your vicinity. Confirmation. Official confirmation. This isn't a hallucination. It isn't a mistake. The object is real enough to appear on military radar, real enough to be tracked, real enough to exist in the shared reality of multiple observers, multiple systems, multiple forms of detection. The captain requests a change in heading. Permission granted. The 747 banks, turns, alters course, and the object, that vast silhouette, turns with them, matches their heading, maintains its position, as if connected, as if interested, as if unwilling to let them go just yet. 50 minutes. That's how long this encounter lasts. 50 minutes of this massive presence following them through the Alaska night. 50 minutes of the captain flying his aircraft while simultaneously witnessing something that should not, cannot, does not exist in any official understanding of what flies in our skies. The crew is calm, remarkably calm. There's something about the object's behavior that prevents panic. It doesn't approach too close. doesn't make aggressive movements. Don't threaten. It simply accompanies them. Share their journey. Observes with patience that speaks of vast intelligence, vast capability, vast indifference to human timescales and human concerns. And then, as they approach Fairbanks, as they begin their descent, the object releases them. Not dramatically, not with any flourish. It simply stops following, falls back, and vanishes. Whether it departed at incredible speed, or simply became invisible, or slipped into some other dimension, the captain cannot say. He only knows it's gone, and they are alone again. Just a cargo plane, just 3 men, just the ordinary sky. They land in Anchorage, file their reports, face the interviews, the skepticism, the investigations, the FAA, the media, the endless questions. The captain tells his story honestly, consistently, never changing the details, never backing down from what he saw, and he pays for it. His career suffers. His reputation is questioned. Some call him a liar. Others say he was confused, mistaken, suffering from fatigue or some perceptual error, but he knows. His crew knows. The radar operators know. Something was there that night. Something real, something vast. Something that chose to fly with them for 50 minutes, for reasons we may never understand, before releasing them unharmed, unchanged except for the memory. Let that feeling settle over you now. That sense of being accompanied, being watched, being observed by something far larger than yourself, but not with malice, not with threat, only with curiosity, interest, the kind of detached but benevolent attention that requires nothing from you, expects nothing from you, simply notices you. You are so deeply relaxed now, so heavy, your body has forgotten how to hold tension. Your breathing is slow, deep, automatic, like the engines of that 747, like the steady flight through darkness, continuous, rhythmic, peaceful. Let yourself fly now, high above Alaska, high above the world, with something vast and silent following behind, not to frighten you, not to harm you, only to accompany you, to share this moment of existence, this brief journey through the darkness toward rest. The mountains pass below, the aurora shimmers above, the stars watch, and you fly, peaceful, protected, moving steadily toward your destination, toward sleep, toward dreams, toward the soft darkness of rest, drifting, gliding, flying through the night into sleep, into peace, into dreams as vast and gentle as the Alaska sky. Settle deeper now. Let yourself descend gently, back down toward Earth, to the Hudson Valley of New York, where the river flows wide and ancient, where small towns nestle in rolling hills, and where, for 5 years, night after night, thousands of people looked up and saw the same impossible thing, floating silently, watching peacefully, becoming part of their lives in ways both strange and comforting. Imagine living in one of these towns, Brewster, Carmel, Kent, small communities where everyone knows everyone, where life is quiet, predictable, where the most exciting thing that happens is Friday night football or the county fair. And then, one evening in 1982, someone looked up and sees lights hovering, silent, enormous, and the next night, someone else sees them, and the night after that, more people, until it becomes not an event, but a phenomenon, not a single sighting, but a wave, a presence, something that returns again and again, as reliable as the stars, as familiar as the moon. The object, or objects, descriptions vary, but certain features remain consistent. A boomerang shape, or a V huge. Some estimates say 300 feet across. Others say larger, but everyone agrees, massive. Absolutely massive. So large that it blocks out stars as it passes overhead. So large that it can be seen from multiple towns simultaneously, each witness viewing it from their own perspective, their own angle, but all seeing the same thing. The lights, the lights, the lights, arranged along the edges. White, amber, sometimes red, not harsh, not blinding, but clearly visible. Bright enough to illuminate the ground below, bright enough to cast shadows, bright enough to make trees and houses glow with reflected luminance as this thing drifts overhead, and always, always silence. This is what strikes witnesses most. Something so large should make a sound, should roar with engines, should shake the air with its passage. But there's nothing, only silence, deep, complete, as if the object exists slightly outside normal physics, as if it moves through some medium we cannot perceive. Night after night, week after week, month after month, year after year, it returns. Not every night, but often enough that people expect it, to watch for it, to call their neighbors when it appears. It's back. Come outside. Bring the kids, because yes, families watch it together. Parents and children standing in their yards, pointing, wondering, experiencing this mystery as a shared event, a communal moment. There's no panic, no mass evacuations. No one is fleeing in terror. Instead, there's wonder, excitement, the thrill of seeing something extraordinary, something that shouldn't be possible, something that makes the ordinary suburban night magical. A man named Philip Imbrogno, a science teacher, begins investigating, collecting reports, interviewing witnesses. He's skeptical at first, dismissive, but as the accounts pile up, as he speaks to police officers and pilots and ordinary citizens, all describing the same thing, his skepticism erodes. He starts looking for it himself, setting up observation points, bringing cameras, equipment, and he sees it multiple times. This isn't folklore. This isn't mass hysteria. This is something real, something physical, something that can be photographed, witnessed by multiple independent observers, something that exists. The object moves slowly, drifts, really, like a leaf on a gentle current, across the valley, over the towns, above the river, sometimes hovering, sometimes gliding, never rushing, never showing any sense of urgency or purpose that humans can discern. It seems to observe, to study, to watch the people below going about their lives, driving home from work, walking dogs, playing in yards, living their ordinary human existence while something extraordinary hangs in the sky above them. Sometimes it's low, very low, treetop level, close enough that witnesses can see details, can see the structure, can see how the lights are mounted, can see panels or seams or features that suggest construction, design, intelligence behind the creation. Other times, it's higher, a distant presence, but still massive enough to be unmistakable, still silent enough to be otherworldly, still present enough to remind everyone the universe is stranger than you know. Years pass, 1982, 1983, 1984, the sightings continue. Thousands of witnesses now, maybe tens of thousands. Entire communities have seen it. Some people have seen it dozens of times. It becomes part of the local culture. The Hudson Valley UFO. Did you see it last night? Yeah, around 10. Passed right over the house. Casual, matter of fact. How people might discuss weather or wildlife, because when something appears regularly enough, even something impossible, It stops being terrifying and starts being simply part of life. Strange, unexplained, but familiar in its strangeness. Some theories emerge. Ultralights, skeptics say. Small aircraft flying in formation, but ultralights are loud. This is silent. Ultralights can't hover. This hovers for extended periods. Ultralights can't explain the size, the structure, consistency of reports across years and geography. Others say it's military, secret aircraft, experimental technology. But if so, why reveal it repeatedly over populated areas? Why make it so visible? Why allow thousands of civilians to witness it night after night? The truth remains elusive, unknown, perhaps unknowable. But the experience of standing under that massive presence, of feeling small and watched and somehow cared for, that's real, that's shared, that's undeniable. By 1986, sightings had become rarer. The object, or whatever it is, appears to move on, to shift its attention elsewhere, or perhaps to have completed whatever observation it was conducting. The wave, a 5-year wave of peaceful encounters, gradually subsides. The valley returns to normal. The nights become ordinary again. But the people remember. Oh, how they remember. Thousands of them carry memories of standing under that silent immensity, of watching lights drift through darkness, of feeling connected to something vast and mysterious and utterly beyond human understanding. Let yourself feel that now, that sense of being part of something larger, of being witnessed, of being included in some great mystery that spans years, that touches thousands, that transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary simply by its presence. You are so deeply relaxed, so completely at peace. Your body is heavy, your mind is quiet, your breathing is slow and even, in and out, like the object drifting, like the lights pulsing gently, rhythmic, eternal, peaceful. Let yourself hover now, above the Hudson Valley, above your own life, above all concerns and worries and daily troubles, just floating, suspended, held gently by forces you don't need to understand, silent, peaceful, observed but not judged, present but not threatened. The towns sleep below, the river flows, the years pass, and you drift, time and space and consciousness, into sleep, into dreams, into the gentle mysteries that have watched over the valley, that watch over you now, benign, patient, eternal dot, drifting, hovering, floating through the darkness, into rest, into peace, into the soft night of the Hudson Valley. And now we arrive at our final encounter, the grand finale, the one that brings us home, to Phoenix, Arizona, to March 13th, 1997, when thousands, perhaps tens of thousands, of people witnessed something so vast, so peaceful, so awe-inspiring, that it remains one of the most documented, most witnessed, most undeniable encounters in modern history. A perfect ending to our journey, a perfect image to carry into sleep, into dreams, into peace. Picture the Arizona desert, vast, open. The sky is enormous above it, stretching from horizon to horizon with nothing to block the view. This is a place you can see forever, where stars shine with brilliant clarity, where the air is so clean and dry that distance becomes meaningless. It is evening, just after 8 o'clock. Families are finishing dinner. Children are doing homework. Adults are settling in for the night. Ordinary Thursday evening, nothing special, nothing unusual, until someone looks up. It begins in the northwest, near the town of Paulden. a formation of lights moving south, slowly, silently. 5 lights arranged in a V pattern, brilliant, amber, golden, like windows into some other world where light behaves differently, where luminance doesn't come from fire or electricity, but something else, something we have no name for. The formation moves steadily over Prescott Valley, over Dewey, heading toward Phoenix. And as it moves, people notice, one by one, town by town. They step outside, they point, they call family members. Come see this, come see. The formation grows, or perhaps more of it becomes visible. Now there are 7 lights, then 9, arranged in a perfect VA pattern so precise it must be intentional, must be controlled, must represent intelligence and purpose and design, and the size, is. Witnesses would later struggle to convey it. Some said it looked like a mile, others said larger. One man, a pilot, with experience judging size and distance, estimated it was 1 to 2 miles wide, perhaps larger, larger than aircraft ever built, larger than aircraft carriers, larger than anything humans have put in the sky. It moves over Phoenix, the 5th largest city in America, over 1 million people below, hundreds of thousands with clear sky views, and nearly all of them looking up, seeing, witnessing, sharing this moment of collective awe. Families stand in driveways, neighbors gather in the streets, drivers pull over, everyone watching, as the impossible thing glides silently overhead, blocking out stars, massive and real and undeniably there. There is fear. This is what's so remarkable. So many people, such a large object, such an unprecedented event, and yet no panic, no screaming, no running, only wonder, only reverence, only the sense of witnessing something profound, something important, something that expands understanding just by existing. People grab cameras, camcorders, the technology of 1997, and they film it. Dozens of videos, different angles, different locations, all showing the same thing, the same formation, the same lights, the same silent immensity moving through the Arizona night. A man named Dr. Lynn Kite, a physician, watches from her balcony. She's lived in Phoenix for decades, has seen countless aircraft, knows the flight patterns, normal lights crossing her sky. This is not that. This is something else entirely. She films it, documents it, and will spend the next years investigating, interviewing witnesses, collecting evidence, because this isn't just a story. This is history. This is something that happened, something real and witnessed and documented beyond any reasonable doubt. The formation continues south, over downtown Phoenix, over the suburbs, still silent, still steady, still impossibly large, moving with grace that seems almost gentle, almost protective, as if aware of the people below, as if careful not to frighten, not to threaten, only to present itself, to allow itself to be seen. Some witnesses are close enough to see the structure, not just lights, but a solid object connecting them, a dark mass, darker than the night sky, blocking stars as it passes, real, physical, structured, crafted with intelligence and purpose. Others see it from farther away, just the lights, the pattern, but all agree on the basics, the V formation, the amber glow, the size, the silence, the slow, steady movement from north to south. The formation reaches the southern end of the valley, near the Estrella Mountains, and there, in front of hundreds of witnesses, it does something extraordinary. The lights, one by one, beginning from one side of the V, begin to disappear. Not by moving away, not by flying off. They simply extinguish, turn off, cease to exist, one after another, sequentially, until the last light vanishes, and the night sky is just sky again. The witnesses stand in stunned silence, processing, trying to understand, trying to memorize every detail, because they know, they absolutely know, they've just seen something that will stay with them forever. But the night isn't over. 2 hours later, around 10 o'clock, more lights appeared, different ones. These are stationary, hovering, a row of lights over the Estella Mountains, orange, pulsing, different from the first formation, but equally mysterious, equally documented, equally witnessed by thousands. These lights hover for several minutes, then begin to disappear, some winking out, others descend, dropping behind the mountains, or appearing to, or something else. The physics aren't clear. The explanation isn't obvious, but the experience is real. The next day, the news is everywhere. Every channel, every paper. What were the lights over Phoenix? Witnesses come forward by the hundreds, then thousands, all with similar stories, similar descriptions. The consistency is remarkable. The credibility is undeniable. Authorities scramble for explanations. The military first denies any knowledge, then, months later, offers an explanation. Flares, training exercises. But the witnesses know better. Flares fall. They didn't. Flares are bright, but small. These were enormous. Flares are military ordnance. This was something else. The truth, remains officially unexplained, classified as unknown, filed away. But for those who saw it, for those thousands who stood under that massive presence, who witnessed those amber lights drifting silently across their sky, there is no doubt something extraordinary happened, something real, something that challenges everything we think we know about what's possible. And here, at the end of our journey, at the end of these 10 encounters, we find the perfect conclusion. Not fear, not a threat, but I wonder, collective wonder. Thousands of people, of all ages and backgrounds, all sharing one experience, all looking up, all witnessing the impossible becoming possible. This is how we end, with lights in the desert sky, with families standing together, meaning that we are not alone, that the universe is populated, that others exist, and they visit, and they watch, and they mean no harm. They simply are. You are so completely relaxed now, so deeply at peace. Your body doesn't exist anymore. Only consciousness, only awareness, only the sense of floating, drifting, becoming part of something larger. Let yourself rise one final time, up above Phoenix, up into the desert sky. See the city lights below. See the mountains. See the stars above, and see yourself suspended, held gently, part of this vast mysterious cosmos. The lights have gone. The witnesses have returned to their homes. The night has returned to normal, but the wonder remains. The sense of possibility remains. The knowledge that the universe is far stranger, far more beautiful, far more populated with mystery than we ever imagined. And you are part of it. Part of this mystery, this wonder, this gentle, peaceful, magnificent universe, where impossible things float silently overhead, where lights dance in formation, where consciousness exists in forms we cannot imagine, and all of it is watching over you, curious about you, but meaning you only peace, only wonder, only the gentle blessing of existence. Sleep now. Deep and peaceful sleep. Dream of lights in the desert. Dream of silent formations. The dream of amber glows against darkness. Dream of standing with thousands of others, looking up, witnessing, wondering. You are safe. You are protected. You are part of something vast and gentle and eternal. The Phoenix lights have shown you the way. Into sleep, into dreams, into peace. Drift now. Drift into the warm Arizona night, into the soft darkness, into the gentle mystery, into sleep, deep sleep, peaceful sleep. The lights guide you into rest, into dreams, into the infinite peaceful cosmos. Good night, sleep well, and may your dreams be filled with peaceful encounters, with gentle lights, with the knowledge that you are never alone, never forgotten, always watched over by the vast and gentle mysteries of the universe.